Psychoanalytic Psychology.
Psychoanalytical therapy is a therapy founded by Sigmund Freud, also known as the father of psychology, and known by himself as an intellectual giant. Freud discovered psychoanalytical therapy in the late 1800s, studying with Jean-Martin Charcot in Paris, who used hypnosis to treat hysteria and other disorders. Freud concentrated his studies on hysteria for quite some time, but after meeting Joseph Breuer, he began to develop his own theories on the mind. In the 1890s, Freud began analyzing his own unconscious forces and wrote The Interpretation of Dreams, as well as many other well-known novels. After several years, Freud birthed a new technique known as talk therapy, also known as free association, which means that the patient sits on the couch and basically has the ability to tell the therapist everything and anything that comes to mind, helping the therapist correlate thoughts with behaviors and experiences, old and new. Freud also established therapeutic techniques known as dream analysis and transference. Freud continued to refine psychoanalytical therapy, and up until the day he died, he extended his ideas into an ego psychology through which he attempted to understand the entire personality. Influenced by Freud's ideas was Erik Erikson. However, Erikson took on a new approach, focusing more on the conflicts that can take place within the ego itself and less on the conflicts between the ID and the superego. Erikson extended Freudian thoughts by expanding the idea that the stages of personality development include the entire lifespan, beginning with the childhood and going well into the adulthood. Psychoanalysts, like Freud, believe that childhood events and unconscious feelings, thoughts and motivations play a huge role in mental illness and maladaptive behaviors. Both Freud and Erikson had similar ideas, and without Freud, Erikson may not have been such a prominent figure in the psychoanalytical realm of the world. In addition to being a therapy, psychoanalysis helps therapists understand how mental functioning correlates with the stages of growth and development. Although psychoanalysis has been widely critiqued throughout the years, Freud's therapeutic techniques, as well as many other prominent psychoanalysts, are widely used today.
Psychoanalytical therapy is a form of therapy that aims to make deep-seated changes in personality and emotional development. The goal of psychoanalytical therapy is to release repressed emotions and to make the patient's unconscious thoughts conscious. In the earlier sessions, the therapist assesses the patient, typically asking them questions about their life and childhood, such as, how were you treated when you were a child? Did you ever feel neglected? Can you draw a picture that represents your childhood? How was your relationship with your family? How was your relationship with your peers? If the therapist doesn't begin the sessions asking questions, he or she may ask the patient just to talk about their lives while the therapist listens. For younger children who find it difficult to express themselves, therapists ask the patients to draw pictures or to describe things they see in photos. By using these methods, the therapists hope to gain insight on the patient and get a better understanding of how the patient acts in their natural habitat. After the therapist gets a feel for how the patient thinks and acts, he or she may recommend long-term psychoanalytical therapy, or the therapist may refer them to try a different type of therapy if he or she sees fit. In order for therapy to be successful, the patient is encouraged to attend sessions on a regular basis. Another key component of successful psychoanalytical therapy is having the patient lie on a couch while the therapist sits behind them. The goal of this method is to make the patient comfortable by allowing them to look around the office rather than look the therapist in the eyes. This method is successful because oftentimes patients are intimidated to look their therapist in the eyes and therefore are less prone to open up. Furthermore, therapists are refrained from disclosing personal information and are allowed to recommend their patients to whichever type of therapy they see fit.
There are many terms a psychoanalytic therapist may use either within their studies or during the therapy session. These are the common defense mechanism terms. Repression is an unconscious mechanism employed by the ego to keep disturbing or threatening thoughts from becoming conscious. Denial involves blocking external events from awareness. If some situation is too much to handle, the patient just refuses to experience it. Projection involves individuals attributing their own acceptable thoughts, feelings, and motives to another person. Displacement is satisfying an impulse with a substitute object. Regression is a movement back in psychological time when one is faced with stress. Sublimation satisfies an impulse with a substitute object in a socially acceptable way. One famous experiment involves Joseph Breuer and the case of Anna O. This experiment took place in 1880 when Anna O came to Breuer with a case that was known as female hysteria. Anna was 21 years old, who was highly intelligent. The symptoms she presented were split personality and amnesia. Today, these symptoms are known as conversion disorder. Many doctors gave up on Anna and her problem, but Brewer decided to treat her anyways. During her states of absence, he would hear her rumble words. Then, he decided to start writing and taking notes of the words that she said. He then hypnotized her and repeated the words back to her, and soon enough, Brewer found out that the words had to do with her father's illness and death. Anna O. then coined the term talk therapy to describe this process.